Hello, and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is January 15th, and we are down here in my mass assembly line area. I'll try not to run back and forth because I realize the lights probably spaz out the recording. But so I'll basically go over today is I got my goals done that I wanted to do today. So there was a few random things from yesterday, which I'll go at the end because they're just kind of more randomly. But what I wanted to do today was set up at least 4 advanced assembly lines. Now, technically, they are all online and functional and able to use Speedcraft. Now, I do need to fix them, or at least fix 3 of them. I just got the longest one fixed just to kind of proof of concept it out. But kind of hop underneath just from the top side, just to kind of show it off, they are, these don't tier skip, so they do need to be the energy hatch equivalent of whatever tier you're on. So those guys down there for UV, so they're at UV. These guys are UV just because, that's the power level I'm using, but these two are the LUV motors. I skipped ZBM because I don't really use them that much. And then for the moment, I only have 3 levels of motors anyway, so now the ZPM are just by themselves over on the regular assembly line. So while it's not getting the parallelization benefit of the advanced assembly line, it's still not going to be interfered with the other 2 motors now. So that'll be good. But yeah, from the top, they look, this is an assembly line. That's an advanced assembly line. Basically look the same. So to hop below, however, we've got a few things going on. So I'll come to this guy in a second. This is the one I finished off setting up. Over here, these are my first 2. Again, they look relatively similar in setup, but there's a couple of key differences. So just right off the bat, I am going to run all of these at just single recipes. Like this guy will run LUV motors, and that'll be it forever. The only change I'll ever make to this, besides maybe upgrading the energy hatches later, is swap this to a dual P2P interface, but for the moment, this will be fine. And then, of course, I gotta make my changes that I made over to that one, but I'll show what those are here in a second. It's actually gonna, all these cases, be pretty fast to do. But what I've got going on here is just all these storage buses, whether they be the fluid or the normal, I've just set them with a filter. So recipe comes in here, that gets kicked out, and then all these are filtered out. Now, because of motors, I'll click on the UV one, for example, has 6 of the same thing. I do have these running through a forming press, getting named. So like wire 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. Like if we look at here for the, Reddit, one, we got wire 1, wire 2, for the moment, I haven't expanded. All of that's going through one forming press at the moment. I assume at some point I'll need to just throw down a forming press for each individual name if there's ever any throughput issues in the future. But yeah, that's pretty much it for it. Now, this guy seems to be working just fine. The problem, however, I was running into is that I wasn't getting the parallelization, and it was much more apparent on the UV one. So the way these guys work is essentially it crafts each slice individually. So for the number of items in a recipe is the max it can be parallelized. What? I don't even know how to say that word right. So in this case, I'd have 5 parallels, 7 parallels, 11 parallels down for the UV motor. But then I noticed while I was testing it, because I was starting to make some bigger crafts, and on this guy in particular, I was only getting 2 parallels because the the AE interface would not push the items through. So then what I kind of used like a hybrid of what's on the wiki and this. So the wiki versions, if you look at those, are way more complicated. And the version 2 is better for if you want to add parallels. That was the way I'm just going to say it. However, one, I'm doing a big old craft at the moment. So I was going to set it up exactly like that. And then, I was like, I couldn't even craft what I was doing just because my volcanuses are all firing on full cylinders right now. So instead, I was like, well, how does it actually work? Because I felt like that might have been overkill anyways. And I'm almost glad, I'm like glad that I'm like limited because I'm able to see better of what I need to do. So one, the way I have this wiring set up is a little goofy because this wiring set up as if I was going to run ME chests all the way across, like on the wiki. However, you don't need to do that if you are doing this where you have all these stocking input buses set to an item, which in this case, it's only ever going to make UV motors. So it's perfectly fine to set those filters in there. And the way this guy works is same thing. You know, I have my pattern down here, got all my wire 1 through 6, the Naquata cable, what have you. It pushes the items in. They technically go to this chest and then they're fed into the stocking input bus. I will say, just to try this earlier, because I tried a different setup, try to see what I could come up with on my own. I tried using HV input hatches instead of the ULUV hatches that I use on the other assembly lines. But if you have, like, say I have 2 stacks of wire 2 in here, the craft's not going to fire. But for whatever reason, having the stocking input bus doesn't trip it up. I don't know. It's probably just built that way for efficiency and stuff, or programmed that way for efficiency. But the way the wiki does it is each one of these would be its own separate sub network, and then you have the ME chest, and that's because the wiki version is to be able to use multiple recipes on this thing. Instead, all we need is one chest, which I have probably way too large of a cell in here than I'll ever need of the 4096, but that's fine. So if you don't have this chest here and you try to fire off a recipe, it will not work. It won't see the items. They won't ever get pushed in. The only thing that will get pushed in are the fluids over here because they're just on standard storage buses. And I'm sure if I had the stocking version of the fluid, it wouldn't push them in either. Like if I had the stocking version of the fluid, I'm pretty sure I would need to then drop another chest and put the fluid cell in here, fluid storage cell in there instead, probably the multi-use one or multi-fluid one. But yeah, that actually makes it so we utilize all the parallels. Is this thing firing off yet? No, none of them are crafting. That's unfortunate. But say now I go to craft, I've got 67 of these, so I need 349 for what I wanted to craft. Actually, you know what? We won't even do that. We're gonna go even better. What I was crafting those for is because I want to finally craft this guy. I've got all the prerequisites that I wanted to get done, so we're just gonna do it. Yeah. Go over here. Fire. Now it should. Here in a second. Emitter, UV motor. We can see we got slice 1, slice 2, and then as they start going, now like we can see third slice. These ones are all going to take 5 seconds to pop. It's a little slow because this one's a little bit slower, but you can see now it's currently working on 5 motors. But the stocking input buses and that chest down there is what allows us to get to this point and lets it do this. So this guy now is going to use quite a bit of, it's going to use 11 UV amps. So this will be a very power hungry multi-block by itself, which means I might need to go turn off the water line for a bit because the base is doing pretty good with power and I don't want to accidentally kill it. Yeah, here we go. 11 amps of UV, run full parallels, beautiful. So I'll need to upgrade the 3 other advanced assembly lines to be able to do that, which that'll be what I knock out tonight, and then I'll probably call it a night and just let the base craft. However, where's this at? Power. Oh, nice. I hit it at the start of a cycle, so that'll save me 8 amps of UV as well. And I think I will also shut off this guy. Actually, what's concerning is why is this guy not running? That'd be why. out of phthalic acid again. I'll have to look into that. That's like a constant battle. So, speaking of looking into things, so things that I left off yesterday needing to address, hop up here first to the iridium line. This is the netherite line. Go down one floor. The iridium line. So the place I was having throughput issues was specifically this LCR right here. This is the one that in turn makes us this iridium chloride dust. The reason it was jammed up is pretty easy to show off. If we look over here, we need ammonium chloride, which we're still short on, and then the acidic iridium. So I did add ammonium chloride over to this LCR or mega LCR, because I'm already making the floral whatever stuff in the Nequata building now. So I do have it set up, and I'm curious what I'm short on now. It's like short on ammonia and hydrochloric acid. So hydrochloric acid is another one that keeps commonly coming up. I bet I'm out of chlorine if I had to guess. That's barely any hydrochloric acid and no chlorine. So chlorine and fluorine are consistently kind of like peeking their heads up as issue fluids. But that was what was causing the iridium shortage. The next issue was technically over here where my LUV superconductor wires were not crafting, but that was because, more specifically, there was an issue over at my main controller. Like, that's why I was confused. I was looking around and there was nothing in that room that seemed to be wrong. The actual issue was, if we hop down here, is that when I put down my new channel for the 4 beam lines, that actually made channel number 33 over here, or at least on these parts. So this guy had hit up to 32 channels, so I just had to add a new dense cable to pick up the channels on the behind. Now, at some point, this whole area needs a nice, I shouldn't say a whole overhaul, but it definitely needs a little bit of cleaning up. It is kind of janky looking, and not exactly the best laid out. But then what was the last? Oh, the last issue was Nequata. So that was because I was out of fluorine, and then also, and it was specifically being held up on, this is not the Nequata line. This is the Nequata line. It was being held up on this EBF, not getting enough of this fluoral, well, it's got now, fluoral atomic acid. Like I just said, that stuff is being made over in that tower now. It is still technically being made over here. I did direct the fluid from the main network over to this for a while. If you look back here, we've got this, I have this white cable. And if I end up starting to run low on Nequata or the process catches up, I'm going to just repaint this. But now the bottleneck is this guy, which I assume is still full. Yeah, so if this guy ever catches up, that means this guy needs to start going faster. And it's probably going to be that fluoral atomic acid again. So I'll just need to come back over. But for the moment, this guy keeping up with the slow crafting of it over here. You can see 10 seconds for 1,000 liters. I believe it uses 3,000 per craft. That is fine. Well, it's backlogged. And yeah, that's about it. So the only thing I plan on working on today is just fixing up those advanced assembly lines. It's really going to help with the big craft. The big craft I keep referring to is I am finally crafting all my advanced compact fusion coils. I've got 270 scheduled, so let's see, 540. Yeah, I'm literally at the halfway mark because I need 540, I believe. Yeah. Let me double check, make sure. Be real sad if I woke up and had to wait on more to craft. 560. Okay, I'll have to look at that. So I'm either over halfway or I'm crafting the wrong amount. Either way, I'll address it. I did also start making an area for where I'm going to put said advanced compact reactor. It'll be over here. I got to do some wiring. And then tomorrow, as long as the base doesn't break overnight, we'll have that, and I'll have that set up. I don't think I'll have nitinol tomorrow because I do know there is it's like a 14-step process, and there's going to be a bunch of fluids that need to go through heaters, a different like smeltery recipes and stuff set up. But if we have the compact reactor, that'll be we'll be well on our way to getting there and a whole lot closer, and it'll be realistic to either get it done this weekend or on Monday. So yeah, that's where I'm at for the night. Appreciate you for watching. Hope you have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.